Okay, today what we're going to do is we're going to move on to the next lesson. We're going to put our name, first and last, hour, and then lesson, and we're going to work on lesson 19 today. And we're going to work on example B, like always. We're almost done with the third app, and then we'll be moving on to our regular textbook. Okay, so we'll go to our hands-on equations. Here's the problem in lesson 19. I've got 3 star minus a negative 2 equals 8. So I'm going to write that down. 3 star minus a negative 2 equals 8. Okay? Now, from your homework quiz, I kind of had you do problems like this already. They were hidden. Whenever I have a minus right next to each other, what do I do with it? I'm going to make it a chop, correct? So this now becomes 3 star plus 2. That's essentially what happens. Okay? So there's our chop. Now, I need to get 3 star by itself, so I'm going to subtract 2 because it was a plus 2. Now I'm going to subtract it. So I get 3 star equals 6 because 8 minus 2 equals 6. Right? And then I'm going to by 3. Yeah, I'm going to divide by 3. So I get star equals 2. And I don't need to put negative x. I don't need to put x because in my problem all I got is a star. And you're going to notice when you do the app, you just have a star. So I'm going to go ahead and do my check. I'm going to write down the original problem. Now make sure you're following along on this. So I'm going to go 3. Put in 2 minus a negative 2 equals 8. Okay. Order of operations tells me I'm going to multiply this first. I'm not going to do the chop yet. Okay, now before I add it together, this is where I do my chop. And I end up with 8 equals 8. So the chop comes into play when I'm adding those two together, so that's when I do my chop. Questions on this? So you'll notice that in the original problem, right here, I had that negative, and whenever a negative next to each other, we do the chop, so it ends up being a positive 2. All right, let's go on. I'm going to do example C. So I'm going to go back to my app. Here's the next problem. I've got 2x minus 8 equals negative 10. So I want to get the 2x by itself. So what am I going to do to get it by itself? Yes.
Add 8.
I am going to add 8 because it's the opposite, isn't it? So I'm going to add 8 to both sides. I'm not going to minus a negative. Don't do that. Just add your 8. So when I do that, this cancels. I end up with a 2x equals, what do I get on the other side? Negative 2, that's correct. So negative 10 plus 8 is negative 2. And then I'm going to divide by 2. Yes, x equals negative 1. negative 1 because negative 2 divided by a positive 2 is a negative 1. Okay, so then I'm going to go ahead and do my check. I'm going to write my original problem. Again, you write the original. There's a couple of you, you're not writing it. I'll take out my x and I'm going to plug in my negative 1. Okay, what's 2 times negative 1? Negative 2. Minus 8 equals 10. Now, I had a student last hour, they said, well, if I have negative 2 and I subtract 8, can't I do a chop chi on that? Yeah, you can. You can go chop chi. Do you have to? No. But this really helped her. So absolutely, you can do that. There's nothing wrong with that. So if I have a negative 2 and I add a negative 8, I get a negative 10. Okay? And it's a check. Okay. Are there any questions? Something you don't understand? Okay, the rest of the time you are doing 1 through 10. I'll be walking around in just a few minutes, and I'll be answering some of your questions as you have them.